This is not just a message. This is a spiritual emergency. Someone, yes, someone in your life, is about to do something that will shift your destiny forever. But Archangel Michael has stepped in. Again. He says, the identity of the person who's trying to spiritually harm you is exposed. Their energy has been marked. Their name is in front of heaven. But you keep ignoring me. This is your final warning. Right now. As you're hearing this, something is shifting in the angelic realm. Your name is glowing. But it's glowing in red. That means, Archangel Michael has been trying to contact you through signs, through numbers, through dreams. And now, he is speaking directly to your soul. Listen to this carefully. If you skip this, you may never hear from me again. If you ignore this, you will carry this regret for the rest of your life. This is not fear. This is truth. Because somewhere, behind your back, a plan is unfolding. A silent betrayal. A spiritual dagger. But you don't see it, yet. Michael says. You've been hearing whispers. Feeling energy shifts. Thinking about someone and then getting chills. That wasn't your imagination. That was me. Trying to warn you. He's been knocking. He's been shouting into your dreams. Sending shadows across your room. And even placing feathers and coins in places you couldn't explain. You ignored them. But he's not angry. He's desperate. Because he sees the timeline. And what he sees terrifies him. Someone close to you is masking their true energy. And every moment you delay, you let that energy feed on your light. Archangel Michael says, you are more protected than you think. But even divine protection needs your permission. You must say yes. You must listen. Or your protection folds in on itself like a broken shield. This message found you for a reason. Right now, Archangel Michael is watching. His sword is drawn. His wings are wide. But he cannot act unless you acknowledge him. You were not supposed to scroll away. You were supposed to stop. Because your soul has been summoned. You. Yes, you. Were written in the angelic scrolls to receive this message today. And now, it's your choice. Will you listen? Or will you spend the rest of your life asking, what if I had just listened that day?
You've felt it before. Haven't you? That strange feeling in the pit of your stomach when something wasn't right. That whisper in your soul telling you to pause. Turn back. Don't say those words. Don't take that step. But you ignored it. And now, Archangel Michael is reminding you of all those divine nudges you missed. Do you remember the moment when your heart pounded without reason? When your phone rang and no one was there? When your dream felt too real to be just a dream? Those weren't coincidences. Those were divine signs. The time when you almost turned around and didn't go to that place, but went anyway. The moment you chose to trust someone who had already betrayed you once. The times you cried, asking for a sign, and then ignored it when it came, not because you didn't want to see it, but because fear made you blind. Archangel Michael saw all of it. And he's tired. Tired of reaching out and being pushed away by your distractions, doubts, and disbelief. Because every warning, every delay, every odd coincidence you experienced, it was not random. It was divine intervention. You thought it was your intuition, your conscience. But it was him. Trying to speak to you through energy, through people, through sudden thoughts and gut feelings. And now he asks, why did you ignore me? He pleaded with you in dreams. He spoke to you through music, numbers, license plates, repeating times, flickering lights. He sent strangers into your life to deliver a message in passing. And you brushed it off. Called it your imagination. A fluke. But Archangel Michael never sends a fluke. Right now, he wants you to stop scrolling, to silence everything around you, and listen closely. You were supposed to take a different path. And yet, you stayed in that same cycle. Hurt. Betrayed. Repeating. Ignoring. Archangel Michael now warns, if you keep closing your eyes to the truth, what's coming next won't just be pain, it will be regret. And regret is not just a feeling. It's a spiritual wound that echoes across lifetimes. This is why he says today, louder than ever, I've tried everything to reach you. But this is your final and last warning from heaven. Don't wait for another sign. This video is the sign. Archangel Michael has watched a shadow circling around your energy for quite some time now. A spirit not sent by the divine, but drawn by your light, your vulnerability, and the cracks created by your ignored intuition. This is not just bad luck. This is not just emotional exhaustion. This is spiritual warfare. The moment you started losing sleep for no reason. The moment people around you began acting strangely, almost as if they were under some dark influence. The time when your mind felt foggy, heavy, unsure, those were the exact moments this spirit tried to anchor itself into your reality. You see, when you delay your purpose, when you reject divine instructions, it creates a spiritual vacuum. And dark entities always fill a spiritual vacuum. Always. Archangel Michael isn't just a messenger. He is heaven's greatest warrior. And he has seen this enemy attaching to your daily routines, draining your enthusiasm, creating small delays that turn into huge obstacles. That one missed opportunity. That unexpected betrayal. That overwhelming sense that you're stuck, going in circles. He's not here to scare you. He's here to expose what's been hidden. You weren't paranoid. You were spiritually attacked. But because you didn't recognize the signs in time, it crept deeper, into your energy, your thoughts, even your relationships. Michael says, you were meant to be awakened long ago. But you kept denying your power, and this allowed darkness to dwell where light should have ruled. But erase the part that chills the soul. This spirit doesn't want to just ruin your career or block your blessings. It wants to distort your sense of self, confuse your path so badly that you abandon your destiny completely. That's why Michael is issuing a final and absolute warning. He's not just fighting this battle for you, he's waiting for your permission to fight with you. But he can't intervene until you make the choice to see this for what it truly is, a spiritual attack disguised as daily struggle. You've felt the shift. You've sensed that something is not right. And you're right. Heaven has sent him once again, not because you're weak, but because you were chosen. And chosen souls are the most attacked, because their light changes timelines. Now is the moment. You must call him in, consciously. You must declare your refusal to host anything that is not of divine light. Because the spirit that's been circling you, it knows your weaknesses. But Michael knows your soul. And only one of them can win. Archangel Michael wants you to pause for a moment and reflect. That pain you've been feeling lately. It's not random. The loss. The confusion. The betrayal. The isolation. It all carried a hidden frequency, a coded message sent from heaven, disguised in the very suffering you tried so hard to run from. You cried out for signs, and heaven sent you pain, not as punishment, but as a divine disruption. Because sometimes, when you ignore the whispers of spirit, God allows the noise of chaos to shake you awake. Michael says, The storm you faced was never meant to destroy you, it was heaven's loudest cry to get your attention. Because I was there, in the silence that followed your heartbreak. I was there, when you stared at the ceiling late at night, feeling like something sacred had been stolen from you. And yes, I was there, waiting, when you refused to believe in miracles anymore. The enemy thought that suffering would break you. But heaven has been quietly planting strength inside your soul. Every tear you shed was recorded. Every prayer you whispered in the dark, heard. And every time you felt like giving up, Michael stood beside you, shielding you from the blow that could have ended everything. What you didn't know is that you were being initiated into higher purpose, into divine authority, into a version of yourself that will make your past look like the setup it truly was. You were never meant to live a quiet, hidden life. You were born to lead, to awaken others through your own rebirth. But that can only happen if you stop seeing your wounds as curses and start recognizing them as marks of the anointed. Archangel Michael urges you now to go back and review the last 6 months of your life, not as a victim, but as a spiritual investigator. Where did the pain lead you? What did it expose? Who was removed from your path, and why? Because in that painful rearrangement was the hand of God, restructuring your destiny in real time. You weren't being abandoned. You were being upgraded. Michael says, your suffering opened a doorway that only your soul could walk through. But if you close that door now, you will miss the greatest miracle waiting on the other side. Do not regret the pain. Do not hate the ones who caused it. Do not curse the closed doors. Instead, rise. Use what broke you to rebuild you. Because the ones who survive spiritual death become warriors of divine rebirth. And Michael has been preparing your crown all along. Archangel Michael now delivers a clear and urgent instruction, one that you must not ignore, for the timeline of your breakthrough is tied to your obedience in this very moment. He says, heaven has already said yes. But you must act now, without delay, without fear, and without seeking approval from those who never saw your calling. This is not the time to shrink. This is not the time to second guess. You've already wasted sacred energy trying to explain your divine transformation to people who were never meant to understand it. Michael's instruction is simple, but radical. Step forward, even if you're trembling. You are being called to break old agreements, contracts of silence, timidity, and spiritual compromise. You cannot carry your new light in the shell of your old identity. The sword Michael carries is not just for protection, it is for severance. You must cut ties with patterns, people, and purposes that are no longer aligned with your sacred mission. The hesitation you feel right now? That's not intuition, that's fear. And fear cannot be the master of your next chapter. Michael says, stop waiting for the sky to part. You are the sign. You are the shift. You are the one I was sent to remind. Do not look back. Do not wait for perfect conditions. Heaven's miracles move with the brave, not the passive. You are being divinely activated. Right now, in this moment, there is a spiritual seal being placed over your life. One that says, this soul has awakened. This soul has chosen alignment. This soul has heard the call. Michael urges you to begin moving toward the very thing you've been too afraid to start. Whether it's healing, releasing, creating, speaking, or serving, heaven is watching for your next step. The doors are already open. But heaven won't push you through them, you must walk. And with each step, Michael will walk beside you, shield raised, sword drawn, guiding you toward your highest path. Archangel Michael now reveals something you were never supposed to know, not until today. There were forces working overtime, behind the veil, to ensure you never reached this moment. Yes, there were people, energies, and invisible entities that invested in your silence, your confusion, and your self-doubt. Michael says, you were marked early. Not just for attack, but for glory. From your childhood to now, the patterns were never random. The betrayal, the abandonment, the depression, they were all engineered to keep you from waking up to who you really are. But heaven watched it all. And heaven kept the receipts. Michael says, there were forces who whispered lies into your ears, hoping you would believe them over your own divine intuition. They tried to convince you that you were unworthy of love. That your voice didn't matter. That your dreams were foolish. And most dangerously, that your pain was your identity. But here's what they didn't expect. You kept rising. Even when you didn't feel strong. Even when you questioned yourself. Even when you thought no one saw you. Heaven saw you. Michael's sword burned through dark altars and ancestral traps, things you never even knew were placed on your bloodline. There were contracts written in the unseen, trying to reroute your destiny. But heaven has torn them apart. And now, the ones who tried to curse you will witness your rise. Because God does not abandon His chosen. Michael says, the darkness spent years planning your silence, but one whisper from heaven shifted everything. You have no idea how close you were to never hearing this message. How one more distraction, one more doubt, one more delay could have turned your entire path. But heaven intervened. Michael fought for you in places your prayers couldn't reach. And now you're here, not by accident, but by divine appointment. This is why Archangel Michael's message feels so heavy today. It carries the weight of unfinished battles, of ancestral cries, and of heavenly assignments that can no longer wait. You were not supposed to survive what you went through. But you did. And now, you're not just a survivor. You're a spiritual weapon. Heaven has cleared the interference. The rest is up to you. Archangel Michael has waited for this exact moment, not a second earlier, not a day too soon. And you might wonder, why now? Why is this message arriving at this point in my life? Michael answers with piercing clarity. Because now, your spirit is finally ready to remember who you are. You've spent so long surviving, fighting invisible battles, enduring emotional storms, and carrying burdens that weren't even yours. But in the silence of your soul, something shifted recently. A longing awoke inside you. A deep hunger for truth, for divine justice, for your rightful place in this universe. This is why Archangel Michael is speaking now, because the timing is prophetic. Because you were born for this era, and the world needs your voice, your light, your awakened presence more than ever. Michael says, the world is on the edge of a spiritual shift. And heaven is activating its frontline warriors. You are one of them. Not by title. Not by popularity. Not by rituals. But because your soul carries a frequency that disrupts darkness. A frequency that triggers transformation wherever you go. And the enemy knows this. That's why your journey was filled with delays, shame, sabotage, and heartbreak. Because if you ever woke up to the truth, nothing would be the same again, not in your family, not in your bloodline, not in the realm of spirit. Michael says, you are the turning point. You are the interruption in cycles of pain. You are the divine disruption. Do you feel that deep inner trembling right now? It's your soul resonating with the divine truth echoing through these words. Your dreams are not ordinary. Your pain was not random. Your survival is not accidental. It's divine proof that heaven's fingerprints are on your life. Michael chose now because the resistance is fading. The veil between the seen and unseen is thinner. Your ears can finally hear. Your eyes can finally see. And your spirit can finally receive. This is why you were drawn to this message. It's not just a video. It's a prophetic encounter. Michael says, there will be no second warning like this again. Either you rise now, or risk watching your destiny pass you by. The gates are open. The angelic army is aligned. The scroll of your destiny has been unsealed. And the rest is in your hands. When you say yes to Archangel Michael's call, not just in words, but in your heart, in your energy, in your decisions, everything begins to align in ways you never imagined. Obedience to this divine invitation isn't about being perfect. It's about stepping fully into your authentic spiritual authority. Michael says, one obedient step from your soul can shift the vibration of generations. Erase what begins to unfold when you obey. Miraculous protection surrounds you. Things that used to go wrong will mysteriously stop happening. Accidents will be averted. Enemies will be confused. People who once tried to harm you will find themselves unable to touch you spiritually or emotionally. Divine clarity floods your path. You'll begin to see people's true intentions. Fake friendships will reveal themselves. Confusing situations will make sense. Michael clears the fog. He gives you the sword of truth to cut through illusions and manipulation. Financial breakthroughs manifest. Michael governs divine justice, and with his presence, blessings that were once blocked start flowing. Expect forgotten debts to be repaid, unexpected money to appear, and provision to come from places you never expected. Your spiritual gifts activate. You'll notice your intuition sharpening. Your dreams becoming more vivid. You'll sense energies more clearly. Some of you will hear guidance in new ways, or even begin receiving prophetic downloads. This is because obedience unlocks your divine inheritance. Toxic soul ties are broken. People who drain your light will either repent or be removed. You will no longer feel controlled by past emotional trauma or manipulative patterns. Archangel Michael severs what no longer serves your higher timeline. Doors begin opening with divine ease. Where once you struggled, you'll now flow. Relationships, opportunities, healing, all aligned with divine timing. Not forced. Not begged for. Just divinely timed and unmistakably orchestrated by the heavens. And most of all, you'll feel an unshakable peace, not the peace that comes from external calm, but the one that burns inside your chest because you finally know. You are walking in alignment with heaven's will. This is the reward of surrender. This is the fruit of obedience. Michael says, the miracles waiting for you are not in the hands of others. They are in your next decision. The question is, will you step forward, or stay in delay? Because your angels are already moving on your behalf the moment your heart fully says yes. There is a sacred weight to divine timing. When heaven speaks, especially through Archangel Michael, it is not merely for comfort. It is for your deliverance, your elevation, and sometimes, your survival. But what happens if you ignore this message? What happens if you silence the stirring in your spirit, dismiss the signs, or delay the shift you know you are being called to make? Michael does not mince words. He says, every divine delay comes with a spiritual cost. Ignoring heaven's nudge can close doors you didn't know you needed open. Here is the harsh truth. Spiritual protection weakens. The longer you wait to align, the more openings the enemy has to infiltrate your life. Confusion increases. Misfortune lingers. That sudden chaos, that constant resistance, these are not coincidences. They're often spiritual consequences of missed obedience. Repeated cycles return. Old patterns you thought you overcame begin resurfacing. The same kind of people hurting you. The same emotional traps. The same financial blockages. Because when divine instruction is ignored, the test must repeat, until you pass or break. Divine silence grows louder. The longer you ignore the voice of God through His angels, the more distant guidance may feel. It's not punishment, it's heaven stepping back to let you decide if you truly want what you say you're praying for. Soul fatigue sets in. You may feel more tired than usual, not just physically, but emotionally, mentally, even spiritually. That deep sense of something is off. Because your soul knows it's living beneath its divine potential. Opportunities begin to dry up. Sometimes the blessings that were supposed to meet you at one stage of your obedience cannot travel to the next season of delay. You're not being cursed, you're simply missing appointments meant for a version of you that showed up in time. Michael says, delay is not just dangerous, it is disobedience in disguise. And disobedience, even when unintentional, still attracts consequence. This message is not to shame, it's to awaken. Because heaven is still watching. Still waiting. Still hoping you'll align before the window of grace narrows. You have the power to shift everything with one surrendered decision. But know this, spiritual passivity is a decision too. And heaven cannot move where you refuse to. The warning is clear. The invitation is open. The hour is urgent. There is a sacred weight to divine timing. When heaven speaks, especially through Archangel Michael, it is not merely for comfort. It is for your deliverance, your elevation, and sometimes, your survival. But what happens if you ignore this message? What happens if you silence the stirring in your spirit, dismiss the signs, or delay the shift you know you are being called to make? Michael does not mince words. He says, every divine delay comes with a spiritual cost. Ignoring heaven's nudge can close doors you didn't know you needed open. Here is the harsh truth. Spiritual protection weakens. The longer you wait to align, the more openings the enemy has to infiltrate your life. Confusion increases. Misfortune lingers. That sudden chaos, that constant resistance, these are not coincidences. They're often spiritual consequences of missed obedience. Repeated cycles return. Old patterns you thought you overcame begin resurfacing. The same kind of people hurting you. The same emotional traps. The same financial blockages. Because when divine instruction is ignored, the test must repeat, until you pass or break. Divine silence grows louder. The longer you ignore the voice of God through His angels, the more distant guidance may feel. It's not punishment, it's heaven stepping back to let you decide if you truly want what you say you're praying for. Soul fatigue sets in. You may feel more tired than usual, not just physically, but emotionally, mentally, even spiritually. That deep sense of something is off. Because your soul knows it's living beneath its divine potential. Opportunities begin to dry up. Sometimes the blessings that were supposed to meet you at one stage of your obedience cannot travel to the next season of delay. You're not being cursed, you're simply missing appointments meant for a version of you that showed up in time. Michael says, delay is not just dangerous, it is disobedience in disguise. And disobedience, even when unintentional, still attracts consequence. This message is not to shame, it's to awaken. Because heaven is still watching. Still waiting. Still hoping you'll align before the window of grace narrows. You have the power to shift everything with one surrendered decision. But know this, spiritual passivity is a decision too. And heaven cannot move where you refuse to. The warning is clear. The invitation is open. The hour is urgent. When a divine message like this comes, it is not enough to simply feel emotional or spiritually stirred. The heavens are calling you into action, because obedience opens doors that prayer alone cannot. Archangel Michael says, "Faith without movement is a wasted miracle waiting to happen." What you do next determines what opens next. So what does heaven want you to do right now? 1. Clear your space, physically and spiritually. Your surroundings matter. Cleanse your home. Light a candle. Play worship music. Remove items that carry dark energy, gifts from toxic relationships, occult symbols, or anything that disturbs your peace. Michael reminds us, your atmosphere determines your access. When your space is clean, angels move freely. 2. Anoint your doorway and bed. Take oil, olive oil, coconut oil, or holy oil if you have it, and speak protection over your entrance and where you rest. Say, "As for me and my household, no curse shall dwell here. Only light may enter. Only peace may remain." 3. Write the name of the person or pattern tormenting you, and burn it. Michael often uses fire as a divine purifier. If a name, event, or memory keeps haunting you, write it down. Hold it in your hands and say, "I surrender this to the fire of God." Let every chain be broken. Then burn it safely as an act of spiritual release. 4. Speak aloud what heaven has already declared. Your voice has power. Read Psalm 91 or repeat this simple phrase Michael urges you to speak. "No weapon formed against me shall prosper. I am marked by divine light. I am protected, chosen, and surrounded." 5. Ask Archangel Michael for a personal sign. He will answer, through dreams, numbers, feathers, sudden peace, or divine interruptions. But once the sign arrives, do not question it. Trust that what you've seen or felt is confirmation, not coincidence. 6. Avoid people who drain your spiritual strength. Michael warns, not everyone around you was sent to uplift you. Some were sent to distract your destiny. Distance is not bitterness, it's spiritual survival. 7. Fast from doubt. Even if it's just for one day, refuse to entertain fear, overthinking, or disbelief. Replace every doubtful thought with this affirmation: "Heaven has not forgotten me. My story is still sacred. I am not late. I am right on divine time." These are not rituals, they are realignments. Small acts with massive consequences. Heaven does not need perfection from you. It only asks for participation. And as you take these prophetic actions, you'll begin to feel it. The atmosphere shifting, your clarity returning, your courage rising. And most of all, the undeniable presence of Archangel Michael surrounding you with light, declaring, "You are ready now. Let no curse, no doubt, no delay touch what belongs to God." And now, you have arrived at the most crucial turning point in your soul's journey. Archangel Michael, with eyes filled with ancient wisdom and unwavering protection, stands before you, not with a sword raised in fury, but with his hand stretched out, offering one final choice. You can feel it, can't you? The inner tug. The rising pressure in your chest. The undeniable knowing that something is reaching out from the unseen, asking for your surrender, your attention, your transformation. Right now, you are standing on the edge of what could be your divine breakthrough, or your lifelong regret. You see, when heaven sends a final warning, it's not because God has abandoned you. It's because heaven knows that after this moment, your choices will either magnetize divine blessings or invite soul-crushing consequences. Michael says, "You will spend the rest of your life regretting this if you ignore me again." He's not threatening you. He's pleading with you. He's tried signs, repeated dreams, whispers at 3:33 a.m., sudden encounters with feathers, a sudden flood of emotion when you heard a song, read a phrase, saw someone who reminded you of your past self. All of it was him. Trying, waiting, praying for you. But erase the raw truth: if you reject this final moment of divine interception, the doors may not open again. And Michael wants you to understand the weight of that. This isn't just about your life now, it's about your generational line, your divine mission, and every soul connected to your choice. Are you going to let fear, doubt, or past pain hold the steering wheel of your destiny? Or will you reclaim your authority, your power, your sacred alignment? Because Michael sees what you can't see. He sees the storm that's gathering behind someone's fake smile. He sees the email that looks like a blessing, but hides a trap. He sees the decision you're about to make next week, and how it leads to a long tunnel of spiritual regret. He sees the version of you in a parallel future who cries every night because you let this moment pass. But he also sees the other version. The one who listened. The one who believed. The one who said, "Yes, I'm ready," even with trembling hands and tear-filled eyes. That version of you? That soul is about to step into miracles. That soul is about to experience such intense divine favor that even your enemies will be forced to bow in silence. So, what do you choose? Right now, Archangel Michael wants you to close your eyes and whisper, "I receive this warning. I surrender to heaven's will. I am ready to change everything, starting now." And if you just whispered that from your heart, know this: heaven has heard you. The wheel has turned. The curse has been broken. Before we continue with what Archangel Michael will reveal next, take a moment to breathe. You're not alone. You never were. He's been beside you this whole time. Listen carefully now, because this part is not just about you, it's about the forces that have dared to defy heaven by wounding you. Archangel Michael says, "I have already struck." Yes. While you were weeping in silence, thinking no one was watching, justice was already in motion behind the veil. Do you remember the moment when you suddenly felt peace in your chest, despite everything collapsing around you? That wasn't coincidence, that was divine confirmation. That was the exact moment Michael's sword fell in the spirit realm. It wasn't loud. It wasn't dramatic. It was precise, final, irreversible. Someone who wronged you, someone who sent curses, manipulated energies, betrayed your loyalty, or tried to delay your divine timing, has already felt the burning tip of Michael's divine sword. And they know it. They're already restless in their sleep. Their plans are unraveling. Their favor is drying up. Their alliances are crumbling. But Michael warns, do not rejoice in their downfall. Do not curse those I've already judged. Keep your spirit pure so your blessings may remain unstained. Because erase the divine paradox: while justice unfolds for those who harmed you, miracles are gathering like a tidal wave for you. A divine reversal is in motion, and those who once pitied you will soon ask for your intercession. They will say, "How did you survive that?" And you'll smile, not out of arrogance, but because you'll finally know what it means to be divinely protected. Your name, once slandered, will be mentioned in rooms of favor. The place where they tried to bury you will become the exact ground where God will plant your legacy. Your voice, once mocked, will become prophetic. And your presence will carry such unshakable power that even spiritual enemies will tremble. Because Archangel Michael didn't just protect you, he anointed you through the battle. This is no longer about survival. This is about activation. You didn't walk through hell just to return to normal life. No. You walked through hell so you could carry the keys to it and rescue others. Michael says, your story will be someone else's breakthrough. Your scars will open sacred doors. Now, before we step into the revelations about your next spiritual instruction, pause and let this truth settle. You've already won. You are not trying to become chosen. You were always chosen. Now, the world will see it too. Archangel Michael now reveals something few are ever shown in this lifetime, the scroll of your destiny. In the celestial archives, beyond time, beyond stars, there is a scroll sealed with 7 layers of divine light. This scroll contains the truth of who you are. The blueprint of your soul. The very reason your spirit came to this earth. Most people never access it. Some die without even knowing it exists. But you, because of the trials you've survived, the purity you've guarded, and the prayers you whispered when no one was listening, have been granted early access. Michael says, your scroll has been unsealed. The angels are already aligning your path with what was written for you before you were even born. Inside that scroll are divine assignments. Not jobs. Not careers. But soul tasks. You were not sent here just to exist, make money, or survive drama. You were sent here to shift atmospheres. To rebuild sacred ground that was stolen by darkness. To activate others who are still asleep in their pain. That's why your life has been so intense, so unfair, so burdened with invisible weight. You weren't being punished. You were being trained. Trained to handle divine authority. Trained to walk with angels. Trained to speak words that pierce veils and awaken sleeping spirits. Now that the scroll has been opened, Michael warns, you can no longer live like others. You must rise to who you truly are. That means no more shrinking yourself to keep others comfortable. No more silencing your visions out of fear of judgment. No more tolerating spiritual parasites who drain your light. You are being called to consecration, not religion, but alignment. And Michael promises this. As you walk in this newly revealed path, divine synchronicities will increase. Dreams will become clearer. Doors that were once sealed will unlock without effort. The resources you need will find you. The people you are destined to uplift will recognize your voice. And the very places where you were once mocked will become holy ground. Pause here, because Michael is not done. There is more written in your scroll. And it concerns your spiritual name, the name that heaven calls you by. A name your enemies tried to erase. A name that carries power beyond imagination. If you're ready to receive what that name activates, say, silently in your spirit, I am ready to remember. Archangel Michael now leads us to a revelation so sacred, it is rarely spoken aloud. You were not only sent to earth with a mission, you were sent with a name etched in the light of heaven. A name that carries the resonance of your soul's origin. A name known to angels, sealed in spirit before you ever took your first breath. This is not the name given to you by parents. Not the one used by this world. Not the one written on any ID. This name is a sound of power, a sacred frequency that heaven uses to activate your authority. Michael says, your divine name is hidden from the world for your protection. But heaven has never stopped calling you by it. Have you ever heard your name whispered in dreams, but couldn't quite remember it when you woke? Have you ever felt unseen, like you didn't belong, even among friends? That's because your spirit was responding to your true identity, calling out from behind the veil. The dark forces that tried to suppress you feared this moment, the moment you'd begin to remember who you truly are. Because the moment you awaken to that inner name, you activate the light codes inside your soul. You begin to walk differently, speak differently, pray with fire, see through deception, attract synchronicities and divine encounters that shake others. That's what's happening now. Michael says your real name in heaven, though not spoken in human tongue, carries these meanings in light language. Breaker of chains, bearer of divine authority, shield of the innocent, whisperer of celestial truths, anointed watcher between worlds. This is who you really are. That's why your presence unsettles demons. That's why people either feel healed in your energy, or strangely triggered. You walk with an unseen mantle. You carry a vibration that calls hidden things to the surface. You are a mirror of light in a world trained to avoid its own reflection. And now, heaven is lifting the veil further. Michael says, you were hidden for a season, but now it is time to be revealed. He's sending angels to activate the frequency of your soul name through signs, repeating numbers, dreams, and divine confirmations. Don't brush them off. They are spiritual codes, calling you home to yourself. And here's what you must understand. When you begin walking in alignment with your divine name, the following things will start happening quickly. False connections will fall away suddenly. Old cycles of pain will break without resistance. People will be drawn to you for guidance, some without knowing why. Prophetic dreams and visions will intensify. And inner strength will rise where fear once ruled. You are being called not just to remember your true name, but to speak and live from it. No more asking permission to shine. No more diluting your truth to be accepted. No more running from the responsibility that comes with your light. Michael says, you have been marked in the Spirit, and no dark force can undo what heaven has written. This next part is critical. Your name is not just a title. It is a key. And Michael is about to show you the door it unlocks, a hidden gate in the spiritual realm that opens only for those whose name has been activated by the divine. Beyond it lies your next assignment. And the protection, provision, and favor that come with it. If you're ready to walk through that unseen gate, even if your voice trembles, say quietly, I accept the authority of who I am. If you're ready to walk through that unseen gate, even if your voice trembles, say quietly, I accept the authority of who I truly am. But just when it feels like you're on the verge of complete surrender to divine truth, something in you hesitates. Again. Doubt. Fear. Old patterns resurface like dark clouds blotting out the light. Archangel Michael sees this. He's seen it many lifetimes before, this moment, right here, where your soul tries to back out of salvation. Where comfort becomes more tempting than truth. He speaks again, louder now, but still with that piercing calm. This is your moment of final resistance, he says. The last wall must fall. The last excuse must burn. You're remembering the things you were taught. Don't trust signs. Don't follow voices. You're imagining it. But deep inside, the truth is louder than ever. This is real. This is not just a message. This is divine intervention. Archangel Michael pleads with your soul, if you walk away now, the door won't just close, it will vanish. You will spend years, perhaps lifetimes, wondering why things kept going wrong. Why protection left your side. Why everything became harder, heavier, darker. Right now, you are standing at the edge of the last illusion. One more step, and the chains fall off. One more surrender, and you will see with divine eyes. He's not here to control you. He's here to awaken you. To remind you that free will doesn't mean resisting love. It means choosing it, even when it's hard. Do you feel that lump in your throat right now? That's not anxiety. That's the soul remembering its time. Archangel Michael repeats one last line in this section, with gravity that makes your skin tremble. You are not weak. You are not late. You are not broken. You are chosen. Archangel Michael's wings seem to grow larger now, casting an awe-inspiring shadow across the timeline of your life. You are no longer standing in just this moment, you are standing in front of every decision you've ever made. Every time you ignored your intuition. Every time you walked away from the truth. Every time the divine tried to reach you, and you silenced the call. And now heaven has opened a final doorway. One last divine corridor of grace. But here is the truth, doors do not stay open forever. Michael does not sugarcoat this part. His sword glows not just with light, but with holy justice. His voice becomes thunder and prophecy at once. The law of heaven is balance, he says. If you do not respond to this call, a balancing must occur. Divine protection will not be withheld out of punishment, but out of necessity. And in that instant, he shows you, clear as day, how your energy shifts when you ignore this message. You see the people you trust betraying you not by accident, but as spiritual wake-up calls. Finances drying up not by coincidence, but as energetic realignments to force spiritual surrender. Confusion creeping into your decisions like a fog, because you've silenced your inner compass. Not punishment, but consequences. Not wrath, but withdrawal. Heaven cannot fight for you when you keep shutting the gates from the inside. Archangel Michael says something few dare to accept. Many people pray for miracles, but reject the form they arrive in. You've been praying for healing, protection, answers, and here I am. If you ignore me again, the judgment is not mine, it will come from your own soul's despair. Then he shows you a mirror, not of your face, but your energy. What it looks like right now. There are parts that shine with divine memory. And parts that are dim, disconnected, almost flickering out. Those parts are dying because they've been denied the light for too long. And Michael weeps, not out of weakness, but out of eternal compassion. For even angels cannot force awakening. They can only sound the alarm. You will live to regret this if you walk away, he warns. Not because I said so, but because your soul will know what it missed, and it will echo in every failed relationship, every spiritual silence, every sleepless night. You have been given this message not by mistake, but by divine order. This video, this moment, this very second, it was orchestrated beyond your understanding. And now you must choose. The door is open. But not for long. Archangel Michael now points to a scroll, it's ancient, glowing with a celestial fire that doesn't burn but radiates purpose. Upon that scroll, in gold etchings that shimmer like stars, is written your name. Not just your physical name, but your true soul name, the one that resonates across timelines, lifetimes, and dimensions. The one known by the angels before you were ever born. Michael's voice resounds through your being. Your name has been called in the realms of light. Not for judgment, but for mission. You were never meant to merely survive this life. You were meant to awaken. To protect. To stand between worlds, the visible and the invisible, as a being of divine light. This is why your life has felt different. Why the world's chaos affects you more deeply. Why the pain of others doesn't just pass you by, it enters your heart like a flame. You are not weak. You are sensitive because you are tuned to a higher frequency. Archangel Michael confirms. Those who are called often feel like they are breaking, but they are only breaking free. He reaches toward you, and where his hand passes, you feel your heart expanding, a warmth, a light, a knowing. And in that moment, you remember things you never consciously knew. You remember that before this life, you volunteered for a spiritual mission. You remember being shown earth and choosing to descend despite knowing the weight. You remember Michael standing beside you then, as he does now, saying, "If you forget, I will remind you." And this is the reminder. You are not here to fix everyone. You are not here to carry endless pain. You are here to awaken, to anchor the light, to walk in your truth even when the path is dark. Michael places his sword in the ground between you and whispers. This is the line between the life you've lived and the destiny you were born for. Step forward. But stepping forward doesn't mean grand gestures. It means the inner shift. It begins when you choose peace over drama. You choose your intuition over noise. You choose alignment over approval. You choose spiritual discipline over spiritual avoidance. This is your moment of activation. Michael is not just here to warn you, he is here to train you. To awaken the warrior within. The version of you that does not beg for signs but becomes the sign for others. The version of you that no longer fears darkness because you now carry the sword of light. And he says something sacred. From this moment forward, every challenge you face is training. Every shadow is your classroom. And every whisper in your heart is me, reminding you of who you are. Heaven is now recording your decision, not for punishment, but for path alignment. You can't go back to sleep now. Not after this. You've been activated. Your soul has remembered. Your name has been called. And Archangel Michael has delivered the scroll, so now you know. Archangel Michael didn't come to you today by chance. He has watched you struggle, watched you question, watched you ignore the signs that heaven has been sending again and again. But this message, this one, is the last warning from above. If you walk away now, you may never hear from the angels again. This is a divine cry. A soul-shaking plea to awaken. You were chosen for more. You were built for divine protection. And you are not alone. The spiritual attacks, the mental exhaustion, the confusion, it's not random. You've been under a spiritual cloud, and Archangel Michael has been fighting battles in the invisible just to get this message through to you. Let this be the moment where everything changes. Right now, take a deep breath. Say silently, "Archangel Michael, I am ready. Protect me. Guide me. I hear you." Say it with your heart. And if you feel a chill, a sudden warmth, or tears filling your eyes, know that his presence is real. He has arrived. Diamond with a dot. Subscribe now to stay under Archangel Michael's shield of divine updates. These are not just videos. They're angelic alerts, messages sent to keep your soul aligned and protected. Diamond with a dot. And if this message touched your soul deeply, consider showing your support through super thanks below. It helps keep these divine transmissions flowing, so they can reach every soul that's still searching in the dark. This was not just a video. It was a divine rescue mission. You were meant to hear this. And now that you have, never ignore Archangel Michael again. Heaven is watching. Your soul is listening. And time is no longer waiting.